And in studio, Matt Gillen. You're from Candie Co Clothing.
Yes.
Is that right? Now you have a show coming up, but most fashion shows, correct me if I'm wrong, most fashion shows tend to promote the business.
Yeah.
But you guys are doing something different with this one.
Really didn't expect it to be anything. We just made some t-shirts and people wanted to buy them, and it kind of expanded from there. And it's been 5 years now. If you have a dream, go for it. And just because somebody tells you to stop or your dream is not worth pursuing, don't listen to that. Believe in yourself, and friends and family will support that.
Hola. Yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. That is nice. Cool.
Chris Bestplug, Jesse Hamilton, myself started Candie Co in 2008 in Chris's basement, actually painting a t-shirt, t-shirts actually, and we just made a shirt because we wanted to for fun. We never thought it would turn into anything. We never expected to sell it. I didn't even wear the shirt. We just painted a shirt, and Chris wore it, and we sold a few, and it kind of went off of that. And people in high school starting to wear these painted t-shirts, which were not good looking at all.
My involvement with Candie Co was Matt and I in my basement. Just started. I don't know if we should involve Jesse in this mix here. Okay, back to being serious. My involvement with Candie Co was a founder. Just part of the crew. We just started off, went to Michael's, decided to buy shirts. We came up with a design. We decided to make a shirt company because everything we saw sucked.
And we thought it was so funny that people wanted to buy these painted t-shirts, and then we started screen printing the t-shirts, and people then bought those. And eventually, I remember this one time, and anybody that went to high school with me would know this. There was a day where you walked through your Winston Churchill halls, and every third person was wearing the same Candie Co shirt, and it was so funny to see it. And I even remember hearing a girl I went to high school with walking by me and saying, why is everybody wearing these Candie shirts? Because it wasn't Candie Co back then, it was Candie. And it made me laugh, and because we only had one shirt.
We just didn't like what we could buy. The selection was all bad, and so we just started making shirts out of my basement with paint. It's crazy.
That's all we had. One design, a blue shirt with logos coming down the arm, and that's all we had. And then we came out with the same shirt in a white, and that was a big thing for us back then. And it just kind of went off of that, and we kept expanding. And then Jesse left the business, and then me and Chris just continued it in high school, selling it out of our lockers. And
when it started, it was just really bare bones. It was minimalist as I can't say fuck on here. I just did. It was minimalist as fuck. Straight up, went to Michael's, bought a bunch of shirts, bought some paint, bought some foam things that we cut the design out of, and just started painting. Just started designing our shirts, and we'd meet up every once a week and say, well, what do you got? What are we gonna do this week? Well, let's design this. That looks like crap. This looks good.
It's computer class in high school. I'm not really sure the name of it, but we made the logo in that class, taking ideas from other brands. One brand I won't say, but I mean, if you look at the logo, it's pretty obvious which brand. And we just kept going with that and selling it out of our lockers.
Who would have thought? But it actually kind of took off, and people in our school were interested. And there was Matt. He bought a minivan, totally just threw away all kind of clout he might have had at the school, bought a minivan so that he could pack boxes into his minivan of shirts.
You know, selling them to friends, family, whoever kind of wanted to buy them, and it just kind of grew from that in high school. And this, you got to remember, this is still this is 2008, so it's grade 11 for us, and you know, we're dealing with a company that's, we don't know what it is. We're not sure where it's going to go. We're not even sure what we want to sell. We're not even sure the name. It's still called Candie at this point.
And it was just pretty much at lunch, hey, do you want to buy a shirt? My friend and I were designing these shirts, and it's like super cheap, and here's how it looks. And it caught on, surprisingly. Like, you know, the kids were supportive. And it also had a lot to do with like the BMX scene. I know that Matt was super involved in that, so we were able to kind of ride the BMX wave into the market of other schools. It started to get bigger and bigger. Matt started putting on events involved with BMX. He started doing fashion shows. We were doing bike demos, and just consistency. We were just consistently putting out shirts, and Matt was super consistent with it, and it eventually grew over time.
And you know, we were two young kids that didn't know what the hell we were doing, and I wouldn't change a thing about all that, because it's what made me, and the brand and everything like that was those 12 months in grade 11, and they were fun. We sold lots of shirts, 100 shirts or something, and then grade 12 happened, and we kind of had to look at the business and be like, hey, what are we going to kind of do here? What are we doing? Is this going to be a real thing? Are we just kind of playing? Are we just doing that? And that's when me and Chris decided that maybe I should just take the reins on the business, and you know, me and Chris separated his ways.
Well, I stepped out of the company because I could tell that this was Matt's thing, you know. And to watch it grow, it was just, because I was thinking, like, you know, it was getting to a point where it was getting big enough for a decision to be made. Like, are you going to keep doing this? Like, you know, you're 19 now, or you're 20 now, or you're 21, you're 22. And he did. He kept going with it.
Which Chris has had lots of involvement with the company throughout the 10 years, for sure. But we just separated that way, realized our friendship was a little bit more important than the business at the time, and I'm glad that we did that. And then, you know, in grade 12 is when things really happen. That's when you get a bank account, you get a lawyer, you get an accountant, you get, you know, a Facebook page. There was no Instagram back then, but you get all that kind of stuff going, a real vector of your logo, and, you know, it starts turning into a real business. And, you know, you start selling shirts, and we had hoodies and sandals and hats, and did photo shoots and started sponsoring athletes. And
to just see your friend succeed at something that he's passionate about is really cool, especially in a small town like Lethbridge, and to see the hate that he received over it, you know, from other people and other schools, and, you know, the gossip is, it's just cool to see someone persevere through it.
When you started seeing people that you didn't know wearing Candie Co shirts, I feel is when we kind of made it. And making it is a vague term, but making it in our own sense. when you saw people in Calgary, Edmonton, you know, around the world tagging stuff that you don't know, wearing your stuff, that's when I felt that we were at our peak. And in the scheme of stuff, we were minute, but you know, in little Lethbridge, Alberta, we were something. I mean, people loved wearing our stuff. There was people that only wore Candie Co. There was people that, you know, when we had a release of clothes, it was like whole paychecks gone, and then stuff just went like a roller coaster. After about 2009-10 is when everything got crazy. That's when, you know, we started doing the bike demos. We started sponsoring athletes. We were in 12 stores. We started doing fashion shows at local bars in Calgary. I mean, in Calgary, and we did so much stuff so fast that you couldn't even keep track of it. There was times where we didn't even know how many athletes we had. I mean, you would just be, you know, going on Instagram and Facebook, and you would just all of a sudden see somebody wearing your stuff, not because of the rider, but because of his friend or family that ordered it. And we had online sales, and I wasn't looking at that. I mean, we had people that were doing that for us, and I didn't even know what we were selling. All I would know is when we needed to reorder. That's stuff that, you know, is, they don't teach you that in high school. They don't teach you that in college. They don't teach you that. You got to learn fast, and the company grew so fast that sometimes there's regrets I do have, and there's stuff that I missed, and maybe stuff I should have done, and it was just so fast paced. And you got to remember that I had a full course load at this time too, college and university and working and then doing the business, and there's not a lot of time to do certain things and to look at things differently. It was just like, hey, here's an opportunity. Do you want to do a fashion show at, you know, Average Joe's? Kokanee wants to sponsor it. These guys want to sponsor it. Do you want to do it? Yep, let's do it. There wasn't a second thought of that. There wasn't like, oh, well, maybe we've done too many. Even starting the company, you know, in 2008, we've always had friends and family support with it. If, you know, by buying the stuff, supporting it, sharing it, telling their friends to buy it, so on and so forth. And that grew as the company expanded, also, with riders and models and, you know, our media family, even our friends. I mean, there's been many times where after a bike demo, I had friends come and help us move ramps. There was many times where after a fashion show, you had to get your friends and family to help you clean up, and they did that because they wanted to help you. But I think people wanted to be part of the family, the Candie Co family. And there was a young boy, and I wish I could think of his name. He came to every single bike demo. Every single bike demo, I knew my little buddy was gonna be there. And he was a young little guy, and he was in a wheelchair. And every time that he rolled up, I would stop the show. The show would stop no matter what was going down, and we would bring him across the line because we had tape and pylons and stuff. People couldn't come into the bike demos. This little guy would come in, and we'd stop. Everybody would get down and say, "How you doing?" Give him some stickers, give him a hat, high five him, bring him into the demo, bring him part of the family. And he would sit there and watch right while the demo's going. Our little buddy was in the right by the ramps. I loved seeing this little guy, and I wish I could think of his name. And I've met his parents many times, and their names aren't coming to my head here either. But if I ever do see them, and I hope they see this, they know that how much of an impact their son made on even our whole team. So that's an emotional thing. That guy. That was good times. Yeah. Whew.
What about
Kid. No matter what you're doing, you don't have to be a model or a rider or an employee or whatever to be part of the Candie Co family. There was many people that were part of this family, and still are, that didn't have that kind of involvement, and that little guy was one of them. We were a family, and some have gone, some have stayed around, some have left and moved away, and some I don't talk to anymore, and some I still do talk to. You guys knew you were part of the family, and I'm proud to say that you were. And you guys, the family, the customers, the riders, the models, the media, employees, friends, family, you guys are why we're even celebrating this 10 years. You are the reason that we continued after our Innocence Clothing. You're the reason why we had a 5 year. You're the reason why we're having a 10 years, and you guys are the reason that we're going to continue on and have a 20 year. And, you know, hopefully I'm not old by then, but a 30 year and a 40 year, and so on and so forth. But it didn't necessarily need to be a rider or a model or anything like that. You could have just been the guy coming to a show. There's many familiar faces at demos and fashion shows, and both actually, that just became family.
I moved here from Manitoba in 2010 to attend college, and I met a good friend of mine, Caitlin Fancy. She introduced me to Candie Co, and we went to all the fashion shows and events together. In 2014, I messaged Matt asking if I could take photos at his upcoming event at AJ's, and he said yes. So that was a really big thing for me, being new to the city and not knowing many places I could go and take pictures locally and stuff. So that was a really, really cool experience for me.
So I started at Candie Co in September of 2017, and I got a message on Instagram from Matt saying he had seen some of my triathletic stuff and he wanted to meet with me and talk about some stuff. So I came to the office and we just started talking, and he started asking me some questions, and then it ended up turning into kind of a job interview, and he had offered me a job for some video work and marketing work. So I took that, and I've been here ever since.
In 2017, I got a message from Matt again, and he asked me to come in and meet with him, and I didn't think anything of it. I had a full-time job at the time, and he sat me down and asked me a bunch of questions about my career and what I was doing now, and I showed him my portfolio, and he was, as he says, blown away. And he hired me within a couple of weeks to work for Candie Co and Brand Stamp, doing graphic design and photography, and it's been life-changing for me because of all the experiences he's let me have through this job, and I'm very grateful for him every day, and he's like family. I'm so proud of you, Matt. You've done a lot since I've seen you in 2010, and just keep going for another 10.
I saw Candie Co when I was, I guess it would be 8 or 9 years old for the first time. Some of my friends and I played hockey, and we'd seen it just from the publicity it was getting, and some of my friends, as older brothers, were part of the sponsors and the bikers and all that sort of stuff. So we'd seen it, and I wore it as a kid growing up, and I remember researching Candie Co and kind of watching interviews of Matt and seeing how he had kind of built his company. And Candie Co gave me something to look at as a young kid and say I wanted to build something very similar and in my own way. So True Athletics is something that got me, kind of helped me get the job here, but it also, you know, without Candie Co, I might not have started True Athletics. So it's just really cool to see how things work out, and 10 years later I'm working for them, and so it's really cool. And you know, I thank Candie Co every day for that, because it's one of those things I saw as a young kid that really pushed me to want to do something like that too. And congrats, Matt.
What's Candie Co to me then? It's a symbol of perseverance, like I said before. It's just a kid who had a dream and got obsessed, didn't stop, made shirts, had failures, didn't stop, tried new things, they failed, didn't stop. A lot of people made fun of him, a lot of people hated on him, a lot of people still do, didn't stop. Other clothing companies got involved and they went to the wayside, he didn't stop. And here he is today, 10 years later. Congrats, Matt.
One thing that, I've been asked a lot is, were you always entrepreneurial, or did you always know you wanted to do this kind of stuff? And that's a big no. Big no. I had a great childhood. I had, lots of friends and a loving family and stuff, but by no means were we well off. Everything that I've built, grown, owned has been on my own steam, 100%. And my mother would back me up on that. We definitely were like lower class growing up, and you had to make ends meet any way you could. And I've always been able to get what I wanted, and that is in a vague term. But in elementary school, to buy Pokemon cards, I sold pencils. You buy a box of pencils for $1 at the dollar store, and you sell each one for $0.25, and by the end of it, I don't know how much, you get a couple bucks, and you just do that. So elementary school, I sold pencils, sold drawings. I traded Pokemon cards to get better Pokemon cards, and that just kind of turned into that. And I think business is in the same kind of way. By no means are you trying to always up what you're getting, but you find a need and you fill it. It doesn't matter what that need is.
It's rather unusual for a student to walk into class and hand you a business card. So right away I knew that Matt was different than the average bear that we get into our classes.
Because I was always that guy that showed up late to class, always was late. Every single class, I guarantee it. And if any of my professors or anyone are in this, or at our event here, they'll laugh about it, because I was. And I did that for a year and a half. I was late. And then finally one of my instructors was like, Matt, like, what's going on? Your grades aren't the best. Why are you always late? What's going on? And that's when I told him what was going on. And I actually handed him a business card. Ray Freeman business card, and then it all made sense. I'm not gonna say that I got any special treatment, because by no means did I, but I think they understood that I wasn't late because I was, playing video games or just forgetting class. It was literally because if I had 10 minutes from my job to get to class, I would, you'd be a couple minutes late. In between meetings with Candie Co and meeting with stores and on the phone with suppliers and trying to set up more stores, you're doing all these meetings in the middle of your computer lab. You're doing these meetings in between your 10-minute class breaks. I didn't have a lot of friends in college. I didn't talk to a lot of people. I didn't do anything because I was the kid sitting in the corner with a notepad and my phone growing a business that nobody even knew about, because I didn't talk about it very much in college. And once I told all my professors what was going on, they understood, they got it, they encouraged it. And I was one of the students that teachers would call on for certain questions and stuff, business related. And I enjoyed that. But by no means did I give them that business card or tell them I ran this business for any sort of special treatment or anything. I did it because I could see them getting annoyed with me. Walking out of the class 5 times in a row to answer your phone, because you have suppliers that you have to talk to right that second. And then they understood. My grades started to improve, and I actually cared more about school when that conversation happened. So college was fun. I learned a lot. I never, in any of my public speaking or when I talk in schools or at the college or the university, I always say school is important. Did I learn a lot? Yes, but it was hard for me because a lot of it was working backwards, and I didn't give school 100% of my attention, which I should, and that's another regret that I do have, is I should have, but you can't. Sometimes life happens. 10 years now has gone by since the first day that we painted a t-shirt. We owe a lot to a lot of people. We owe a thank you to many, many more, and there's certain people that have made this what it is. I'm going to be listing off a few. Hopefully I don't forget anyone, but anybody that has had any involvement, I really do appreciate it. But I'm going to start it off with my art teacher, who pretty much made it so we could do what we did with the t-shirt. Second of all, I'm going to go back to the gentleman who was the teacher of that computer class that let us make the logo. After that, I guess I owe a big thanks to my mother, who has supported me in this for 10 years now, and all my friends and family that have supported me, all of our current and past employees, all the models, all the riders, all the friends, all the people that have helped, really anybody that has had any involvement with Candie Co. I really owe a lot to you guys, and I this is sincere, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you guys have done. And hopefully we see you guys in another 10, 20, even 30. Thanks, and Ryan Seacrest out. I don't know if you're gonna use that, but that'd be funny.
I wish somebody would've told me, babe, that someday these will be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all these reckless nights you won't regret. Someday soon your whole life's gonna change. You'll miss the magic of these good old days.
I was thinking about the band, I was thinking about the fans. We were underground, loading merch in that 12-passenger van, in a small club in Minnesota, and the snow outside of First Ave. I just wanted my name and a star. Now look at where we at, still growing up, still growing up. I would lay in my bed and dream about what I'd become. Couldn't wait to get older, couldn't wait to be some. Now that I'm here, wishing I was still young. Those good old days.
I wish somebody would've told me, babe, that someday these would be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all these reckless nights you won't regret. Cause someday soon your whole life's gonna change. You'll miss the magic of the good old days.
Wish I didn't think I had the answers. Wish I didn't drink all of that blast first. Wish I made it to homecoming, got up the courage to ask her. Wish I would've gotten out of my shell. Wish I put the bottle back on that shelf. Wish I wouldn't have worried about what other people thought, and felt comfortable with myself. Rooftop open, and the stars above. Moment frozen, sneaking out and falling in love. Me, you, and that futon, we just begun. On the grass dreaming, figuring out who I was. Those good old days.
I wish somebody would've told me, babe, that someday these would be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all these reckless nights you won't regret. Cause someday soon your whole life's gonna change. You'll miss the magic of the good old days.
Never thought we'd get old. Maybe we're still young. Maybe you always look back and think it was better than it was. Maybe these are the moments. Maybe I've been missing what it's about. Been scared of the future, thinking about the past while missing out on now. We've come so far, I guess I'm proud. And I ain't worried about the wrinkles around my smile. I got some scars, I've been around. I felt some pain, I've seen some things, but I'm here now. Those good old days.
You don't know what you got till it goes, till it's gone. You don't know what you got till it goes, till it's gone. I wish somebody would've told me, babe, someday these will be the good old days. All the love you won't forget.
Can you clap once you get a sec?
Oof. Scared the shit right out of Kenzie. See, that's a good photo right there. Here.
No, I'm not using that. You can
Don't move. Look at me. Smile.
You have 3 seconds.
Hey
Okay,
Matt,
really
you know
smile,
the
though.
camera's rolling,
Oh my
right?
god!
I might use that little.
You're famous.
Leave me alone.
It's really nice out. Matt went to get his hair cut, and so the team's kind of just chilling out while the boss is gone. And yeah, I wish I could pay for a $60 haircut, but plus tip. Must be nice.
Life finds a way. Holy, that's good. And that's if that makes it to the video, that would be really, really funny because a lot of people would get that. The whole Jurassic Park thing. 2018, Jurassic Park. Steven Spielberg owes us a royalty for the shout out in this.
Yeah, so when it started, it was really bare bones. It was crazy.
Did I just ruin a thing?
It's okay, we can edit it out.
Thank yous. They're hard, they're fun, they're schemy, they're witty. They come from the heart, they come from a card.
Isn't that right, Kenzie?
Yeah, Kenzie.